Back again with another one, Bad News Brown. And someone asked me to address the whole Gilbert Arenas situation. Ex-NBA player Gilbert Arenas is in hot water from some statements he made regarding the South Sudan Olympic team. I guess they played against the U.S. and they played a good game. And his comments was basically saying, how did we almost lose the game to them? They basically, what did he say? Like, they can't afford shoes. He basically just kind of spoke to them being African in a derogatory way. And I kind of want to just talk about it because, well, really, and this is nothing new. When we was younger, we used to cap on each other. One of the caps was African booty scratcher. Although we said that we didn't really, we just called each other that. You didn't have to be African to get called that. But I think it kind of started there. But even in Gilbert, damn, my bad, y'all. Even in Gilbert Arenas' situation, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, so let me go back. It definitely was derogatory. I don't, people saying it was a racist remark. And again, we get that word racist confused with bias and prejudice. But he can't be racist, but that's a different video. But it definitely was derogatory. And it definitely was classist, being that he's a successful entertainer, so to speak, in America. So he hasn't been broke for quite a while. He didn't had a higher standard of living than the average. And in this case, any American, whether you poor, will probably have a higher standard of living than a lot of people in South Sudan. Not all, but probably the average person. So he basically was looking down on them. And there's a few things wrong with that. For one, I'll start kind of like from the outside looking in. It's like, bro, you talking as if you a white person, and that's where the classes come in. And I mean that because although you talking bad on them and how the poor they are, in all actuality, the same regimes that made them poor is the same regimes that did the same thing to your ancestors up until this day. Now, and it's another thing, and I just found out Gilbert Arenas is Cuban. His parents are Cuban, so he maybe, and shout out to Cuba, you know, we rock with Cuba. Who's to say what people are thinking? And I'm not even talking about Cubans, but just because it's a lot of debate about FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, and tethers and whatnot. But, and of course, you got Coons and Uncle Toms of all groups or whatnot, and you got real people in all groups. I'm just gonna put it like that. But it's it's not a good look coming from you, from nobody black saying that, because for one, it further divides us, and you speak as if you made it. Now, maybe you personally, but again, like I said, the same regimes in all probability that got their foot on their neck got the foot on your neck. So, like, what is you talking about? I mean, you bragging about they're not suffering as much as you are, but you're still suffering. They just suffering a little more. So you pointing the finger, laughing at them. That that's the type of tone that sets. Even though personally he may not feel that way, he just clowning. But at the same time, Gilbert, bro, you gotta be smarter than that. And then people gonna bust back at you saying, well, you see, he may got money, but he's still ignorant and all that. And it's a lot of ignorance. There's a lot of immaturity in that statement, in those statements. Again, like I said, we was kids. We used to cap and clown and all that. But you gotta watch what you say. I shouldn't have to tell you that, especially when you in front of these cameras. But again, it ain't even got nothing to do with that. Even if you wasn't no star, you shouldn't even be saying that. On and off, really though, just 100. And it's one thing again, like I said, you may got some people from there that look down on us. You got coons and high and mighty in all groups, but that's not what that's about. That's not the whole, how should I say, that's not the direction That's not the hype we need to be on with each other. Because even though it's tribalism, basically, when I say that, to me, insane people, man. Okay, we so called African American and they're African, basically. South Sudan, which is in Africa, the country in Africa, and basically another tribe. So you got one tribe, person from one tribe trying to clown a person from another tribe because they still a little bit further down bad from the same people that bust you across the head, bust both of y'all across the head. So that you gotta look at it like that. And it ain't about racism or we bring race in it or whatever. And didn't you say they was accusing him of being racist? But that's the type of tone it's set because that's how people look at it because this how this world is and I didn't create this world. I didn't draw the lines in the sand. And I'm not advocating to draw further lines in the sand. I'm just keeping it 100 on why it's not good to make statements like that. And it really, and those kind of like one of them old school sayings, not old school saying, but it's a saying like when somebody speak ill of you, it's really a reflection on them and not on you. And this is one of them cases because it kind of just kind of say like, bro, you kind of stupid, you kind of ignorant. Yeah, you is grown, you got a little money, but you still stupid. Because in certain rooms, you getting looked at the same way you looking at the South Sudanese brothers. So what's the point of even doing that? So yeah, I guess this is a quick public service announcement. Again, somebody asked me to do this right quick. I'm off the brain, Bad News Brown, breaking it down for y'all, man. Go ahead, subscribe, man. Stay tuned. I'm gonna be back at y'all with some more. Peace.